Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After his birth, he began to cry, "O Destiny Maker, Teacher of the Universe, kindly designate my name and place." The all-powerful Brahma, who was born from the lotus flower, pacified the boy with gentle words, accepting his request, and said, "Do not cry, I shall certainly do as you desire." Thereafter Brahma said, "O chief of the demigods, you shall be called by the name Rudra by all the people because you have so anxiously cried. My dear boy, I have already selected the following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity." Purport: the creation of Rudra from between the eyebrows of Brahma as the result of his anger generated from the mode of passion partly touched by ignorance is very significant. In Bhagavad Gita, the principle of Rudra is described. Krodha, anger, is the product of kama, lust, which is the result of mode of passion. When lust and hankering are unsatisfied, the element of krodha appears, which is the formidable enemy of the conditioned soul. The most sinful and inimical passion is represented as ahankara, or the false egoistic attitude of thinking oneself to be all in all. Such an egocentric attitude on the part of the conditioned soul, who is completely under the control of the material nature, is described in Bhagavad Gita as foolish. The egocentric attitude is a manifestation of the Rudra principle in the heart, wherein krodha, anger, is generated. This anger develops in the heart and is further manifested through various senses, like the eyes, hands, and legs. When a man is angry, he expresses such anger with red-hot eyes and sometimes makes a display of clenching his fists or kicking his legs. This exhibition of the Rudra principle is the proof of Rudra's presence in such places. When a man is angry, he breathes very rapidly, and thus Rudra is represented in the air of life, or in the activities of breathing. When the sky is overcast with dense clouds and roars in anger, and when the wind blows very fiercely, the Rudra principle is manifested. And so also when the sea water is infuriated by the wind, it appears in a gloomy feature of Rudra, which is very fearful to the common man. When fire is ablaze, we can also experience the presence of Rudra. And when there is an inundation over the earth, we can understand that this is also the representation of Rudra. There are many earthly creatures who constantly represent the Rudra element. The snake, tiger, and lion are always representations of Rudra. Sometimes because of the extreme heat of the sun, there are cases of heart stroke. And due to the extreme coldness created by the moon, there are cases of collapse. There are many sages empowered with the influence of austerity, and many yogis, philosophers, and renouncers who sometimes exhibit their acquired power under the influence of the Rudra principle of anger and passion. The great yogi Durvasa, under the influence of the Rudra principle, picked a quarrel with Maharaj Ambarish, and a Brahmana boy exhibited the Rudra principle by cursing the great king Parikshit. When the Rudra principle is exhibited by persons who are not engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the angry person falls down from the peak of his improved position. This is confirmed as follows. Yenyera vindaksha vimukta barinas tvayasta bhavat avishuddha buddhayah aruhra kritsrena parampadam tataha patantyato nadrita yushmadangrayah. The most lamentable fall down of the impersonalist is due to his false and unreasonable claim of being one with the Supreme. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees at ISKCON Bhaktivedanta Manor. Today we are discussing from the third canto of Bhagavatam, 12th chapter, which describes the creation done by Lord Brahma. Brahma appeared from this lotus that appeared from the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and he performed meditation for a long time, and finally he got the darshan of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And he offered several beautiful prayers. Then the Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, spoke to Brahma and empowered him with the ability to create this universe, increase the population of this universe. He told him, "O Brahma, as long as you are rooted in bhakti, in your meditation upon me, you will definitely be bestowed with the capacity to populate this universe with so many living entities. This is your service. You have been anxiously praying to render this service nicely, but what you are praying for has already been bestowed upon you. So, go ahead." Then with this empowerment given by the Lord, Brahma started creating. What he should create? He should create this universe, different planetary systems in this universe. He should create different living entities in the universe. He should create different species, different phenomena, different systems of knowledge. All this Brahma has to create. But he cannot create souls, by the way. Just like a farmer, when he sows seeds, he will have to supply water to the seeds in the field. He has to provide fertilizers, and he has to pluck out the weeds. He has to protect the crop from animals and birds. And finally he can harvest. Although the farmer does everything for the manifestation of these grains, but the farmer himself does not have the ability to create a seed. Similarly, Brahma acts like a farmer who does the needful for creating this crop of this universe, but the seeds in the crop, means the souls in the universe, Brahma cannot create. They are eternally the parts of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Aham bija pradah pitaha. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is called the primary creator of the universe, while Brahma is only the secondary creator. Lord Krishna, in his manifestation as Mahavishnu, when he breathes out, millions of universes come out of his bodily pores, and he enters into each and every universe in the form of Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. And from the navel of Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, the universal lotus sprouts and Brahma takes birth. So, there are millions of Brahmas, as many as there are number of universes. But there is only one Mahavishnu. Of course, there are millions of Garbhodakasaya Vishnus also, as many as there are a number of universes. So the Lord manifests. See the picture right in front of us. That big Vishnu is Mahavishnu or Karanodakasaya Vishnu, and there is a smaller Vishnu within that bubble, within that universe, lying on the snake bed. He is Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, and from him Brahma appears. So Brahma, being empowered by the Lord, he started creating this universe. First he has to create the software. When you have the hardware ready, when you have the laptop ready, you have to install different apps into that, MS Office or Photoshop or whatever. Similarly, Brahma also, for the functioning of these conditioned souls who desire to live independent of the Lord, Brahma has to create 5 types of ignorance. They are called 5 ajnana vrittis, which are described right in the beginning of this chapter. Sasarjangarindhata mishram athata mishram adikrit mahamoham cha tamascha ajnana vrittayah. Sasarjagare andhata mishram athata mishram. I think few days back you must have discussed that shloka. We will not go into the details. In short, Brahma created 5 features of nescience or 5 features of ignorance. Because of this ignorance, the conditioned soul starts thinking oneself separate from the Lord, thinks of oneself as an independent enjoyer or master or controller or proprietor or doer, performer in this universe, and thus tries to exploit this material nature for his enjoyment. They try. The Lord gives them an opportunity to try. You test for yourself whether if you can be happy without me, disconnected from me. That's the whole purpose of this creation. The whole purpose of creation is to house the conditioned souls who have a rebellious mentality to stay away from the Lord, to stay independent of the Lord. Actually, the Lord inspires the living entities to not be independent, but to take shelter of the Lord. And the Lord, as Super Soul, Paramatma, He gives inspiration to the conditioned soul. Whenever the conditioned soul wants to behave independently or live a life which is not centered on Krishna consciousness, Paramatma keeps giving indication. Hey, you're going in a wrong direction. You're becoming adharmic. But when the conditioned soul insists on, yes, I have to live independent of you. I cannot stay with you. I can't be subordinate to you. Let me be independent. Then the Lord allows the conditioned soul to explore his material pleasures at his own risk. Right? So, for the conditioned soul to explore those desires, pursue those desires, these 5 kinds of nescience or ignorance are required. You must have recently discussed it. So Brahma creates 5 features of nescience. They are ignorance of one's own false identity. Sasarjangre andhatamishram athatamishram adikrit mahamoham cha tamascha jnanavrtaya. Tamas means ignorance of one's own real spiritual identity as servant of Krishna. That is tamas. Moham means illusion. So when you forget your real identity, you start assuming or embracing a new temporary material identity. That is called moham or illusion. Tamas and moham. Then mahamoham means when you start identifying yourself with Hari Hari. Your blessings, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj, SB3.12.8-11 Maharaj. We were discussing how Brahmaji first created 5 Ajnana Vrittis, or the 5 features of nescience in the beginning of the creation. So Brahma created tamas, which is ignorance of one's own self-identity, ignorance of one's own original spiritual position as servant of Krishna. Then second is moham, means an illusion, illusory identity, embracing oneself, embracing new identities in this material world. Then mahamoham means possessiveness that comes along with these new identities. In short, moham is when the soul starts identifying oneself with the material body, which is not the right thing. Then mahamoham is identifying oneself with bodily possessions. And that is possessiveness. Mahamoham cha. Then comes tamishra and andhatamishra. Tamishra means anger. Whenever our bodily conception is challenged, then we become angry. That sense of anger is tamishra. And when people have to give up their body at the end of their lives, that sense of death is andhatamishra. So these are the 5 features of nescience that Brahma creates. After that, Brahma became very dissatisfied. He created this world, definitely, with these 5 features of ignorance, but these are not very pleasant creations. So Brahma feels very guilty. Oh, why did I create such 5 features of ignorance that overwhelm the conditioned living entities to forget their spiritual identities? But that is his service, he has to do. Sometimes an in charge or a manager has to be very strict, has to strictly implement different protocols and policies, and that might control common people. But as a matter of duty, they have to be very strict. But at the same time, they also feel very bad. They are not very comfortable troubling people. So Brahma also felt dissatisfied. After his first phase of creation, where he created 5 features of ignorance, Brahma felt dissatisfaction. Then Brahma thought, with Ajnana, I have created 5 features. I created 5 Ajnana Vrittis. Let me create something with Jnana, knowledge. Then, with his Jnana potency, Lord Brahma created the 4 Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, etc., Sanat Kumar. When he created 4 Kumaras, he instructed them. He requested them, can you please help me populate this universe? Can you please expand this creation? My mandate, my project now is to populate this universe with different species of living entities. Now I want your assistance. But these 4 Kumaras, they chose to remain as little boys, 5-year-old children, not even covering their bodies, dressed in 4 directions. They wanted to remain as brahmacharis, celibates, forever. They did not show any interest in entering household life, and they did not want to assist Brahma in populating this universe. They said no. The first thing that they have ever done after their birth is to be disobedient to Brahma's instructions. They said, we want to become brahmacharis. We don't want to enter married life. One day I had to give a class on this chapter, and my father was sitting right in front of me. And I was reading all these purports written by Prabhupada. When can a son say no to father? And anyways, the four Kumaras wanted to become Vasudeva Parayana. They wanted to dedicate their lives to Lord Vasudeva. Therefore, they said no. Of course, a son has to follow the instructions of the father, undoubtedly. That's what Lord Ramachandra showed. But there are some instances where the son can say no, as Prabhupada writes in these purports. In those instances, one instance is if they want to become renunciant, like the four Kumaras, then they can say, for the purpose of serving the Supreme Lord, they can deny the instruction of the father. However, the four Kumaras were not disrespectful towards Brahma, and Brahma's relationship with the four Kumaras was not disrupted because of their disobedience. So their relationship continued to exist. But Brahma was slightly agitated. Slightly he became angry when four Kumaras denied to accept the responsibility of populating the universe. And from that anger, Rudra manifested. From between the eyebrows of Brahma, Lord Shiva manifested, Rudra manifested. As soon as he manifested, he started crying profusely. He was crying. And he said, what are my names? Where should I stay? What is my place of residence? Then Lord Brahma said, oh, you have anxiously cried, therefore I give you the name Rudra. And you wanted your place of residence? Then I give you these 11 places. I have already selected these following places for your residence: the heart, the senses, the air of life, other things, sky. So Lord Brahma gives 11 places to Lord Rudra to reside. What is this Rudra residing? Basically, Lord Shiva is another manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The Lord has 6 types of avatars. You know what are they? Purushavataras, Gunavataras, Leelavataras, Manvantaravataras, Yugavataras and Shaktavashavatars. One category is Gunavataras. And there are 3 Gunavataras: Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Brahma is the in charge of mode of passion, Rajogun, and Vishnu is the in charge of mode of goodness, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. He is a Sattva avatar. And Lord Shiva is the in charge of mode of passion, mode of ignorance, Tamogun. But that does not mean these 3 deities are under the influence of Sattva-Rajas Tamogunas. They are taking care of these 3 modes. It's not that they are under the influence of it. We should not think that Shiva is in mode of ignorance. Although Shiva takes care of people in mode of ignorance, Shiva is the in charge of people who are in mode of ignorance. He himself is not in ignorance. And Shiva represents this ahankara. There are different deities, right? In the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva offers a beautiful prayer called Rudra Gita. In that Rudra Gita, he offers prayers to the presiding deities of Antahkaranas. Antahkaranas are Man, Buddhi, Ahankar and Chitta. Mind, intelligence, ego and consciousness. And the presiding deities of these 4 Antahkaranas are Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So Sankarshan is the deity of ego, false ego. And Lord Shiva is a secondary presiding deity of that false ego, and he is a subordinate to Sankarshan. He's a disciple of, he's a devotee of Lord Sankarshan, right? So thus he is also another presiding deity of false ego. And anger manifests from ego. So that's what Prabhupada is writing in this purport very elaborately. And that anger principle is present in these 11 places: heart, senses, life air, sky, etc. So Heart is the seat of all emotions. When somebody is very egoistic, the heart also hosts another emotion called anger. One becomes very angry, right? Therefore, Rudra principle or anger principle is present in the heart. Secondly, the senses. Yes, when somebody is very angry, then they will clench their fists, they will use their legs to kick somebody. Thus, the emotion of anger is expressed or is manifest in the senses. Right? People's face becomes red, their eyes are like frowning like this, eyes become red. Therefore, Rudra principle or anger is present in the senses also. Life air, when somebody is very angry, they breathe very heavily. Thus, anger principle or Rudra is manifested in air also. I mean, pranavayu also. Their breathing becomes heavy. Then sky. So sometimes you see the sky is dense with dark clouds. You become a little scared. So that is Rudra principle manifest there. Next, air. There is wind, fierce wind sometimes, right? Which is very scary. People will fly away. When Tranavarta comes in Vrindavan, he comes like a whirlwind demon, right? So that is Rudra principle being manifest there. Then what else? Fire. Fire. We don't need an explanation. Fire definitely represents anger. It's very scary. Next is water. Sometimes there are tsunamis, fierce waves. Sometimes just by seeing mere gigantic water body, people become fierce, right? There are some whirlpools in the water. Then earth. All these weapons that people are using to kill others, they are manifested from earth. Thus, this anger principle, Rudra principle is present in the earth also. What else? The sun, of course, during summer, hot summer. In May, April, in India especially, the sun is scorching. We may get sunstrokes, people may faint, people may become unconscious because Rudra principle is there in the sun also. Then the moon, sometimes moon becomes extra cool. That's another manifestation of Rudra principle. Then austerity. How can there be austerity in, how can there be Rudra principle? How can there be anger in austerity? When people do non-devotional austerities, they become angry. They might have controlled their lust, they might have controlled their material desires, but many people, despite having so much of self-control and austere, sometimes they may not be able to control their anger. Just like Durvasa Muni is a very angry, very austere person. He drinks only Durva grass, but still he is very angry. So angry that just because Ambarish Maharaj drank a drop of water to break his fast before feeding Durvasa Muni became so angry that he created a fiery demon to kill Ambarish Maharaj. Similarly, we have Vishwamitra. When Rambha came to disturb him, distract him, Vishwamitra became very angry. He became very angry with Vasishta Muni. Like that, different sages who are very austere also show anger. Especially when they do non-devotional austerities, they become very angry. So, these are the 11 places where Rudra manifests or the principle of anger manifests. But Rudra, Lord Shiva himself, is not a victim of anger, by the way. Sometimes we can show anger, and wherever there is exhibition of anger, you see Rudra principle is present there. That's what the purport and the shloka says. But Shiva as a personality, don't see him as an in charge of Tamogun at this moment, but see Shiva as a Vaishnava. He is very peaceful. He is Asutosh. He is very easily satisfied. When Daksha was criticizing and even cursing Lord Shiva, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Bhagavan ki jai. When Lord Shiva was being criticized publicly in front of so many celebrities, universal celebrities, so many Brahmarshis and Rajarshis and Devarshis and Devatas and Brahmanas and sages were present in that huge assembly. In that assembly, Daksha came and very proudly criticized Brahma and even criticized Shiva and even cursed Lord Shiva. But Shiva was very tolerant, very patient. He did not show anger. When did he become angry? Only when his wife Sati was affected because of Daksha's indifference and inappropriate behavior. So Shiva is very self-controlled. So we should not attribute this egoistic and angry mood to Lord Shiva's personality, but Shiva becomes the in charge of these emotions, right? As a presiding deity of Tamogun, or a presiding deity of Ahankar. So Brahma created these 11 places. Brahma designated these 11 places for Rudra to reside, and after that, Brahma also gave him 11 wives called Rudranis. And later, Brahma continued his creation. Brahma instructed Lord Shiva, Shiva, I instructed the 4 Kumaras to assist me in expanding this universal creation, but they denied. They were disobedient. They said, no, we will not assist you in this creation. Then, later, Brahma instructed Lord Shiva, Shiva, you please assist me in this creation. Right? You create population and you instruct the people whom you create to further expand the creation. Then Shiva is very obedient. Shiva said, okay Brahma, I will do it. You are my father. Of course, Shiva's position is superior to Lord Brahma, but still he manifested from Brahma. He is respecting him like a father, and he said, okay, I will do it. So Shiva created so much population. But these people that Shiva has created also are like manifestations of anger and they also are products of passion and ignorance, and they also were like reddish and bluish in color. All the people created by Lord Shiva started going in different directions in the universe, and they started destroying everything in the universe. By the time not much has been created, but whatever little bit has been created, this Shiva's people are destroying. They even came to attack Brahma, and Brahma got scared. Brahma called Shiva to give a feedback session. Brahma said, my dear Shiva, I told you to expand the population of the universe, and you have created all these people. In the phase of creation, they are destroying everything. So there is no need to create this kind of people. There are some people who are very expert in setting up for a program. They can put mats, they can put chairs, they can arrange sound system. They're very good at it. But there are some people who are very expert in winding up. As soon as they see a blank mat there, they will immediately wind up and put it there. Blank chair there, they will immediately stack it somewhere. So when program is about to happen, you should not be in wind up mode. You should be in a mode of, spreading everything and keeping everything open. But Shiva is expert in destruction, not creation. Of course, when there is no qualified Brahma, Shiva acts as Brahma. In the Sarartha Darshani commentary, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur mentions this. Sometimes Shiva also acts in the role of creation. That's like exceptional case. We'll discuss it some other time. But here Shiva is expert in mode of, Shiva is in charge of mode of ignorance, and Shiva is expert in destruction, and Brahma appointed Lord Shiva for the business of creation. And during the phase of creation, people whom Shiva has created are doing destruction. And that created a lot of disturbance for Brahma. Brahma called Shiva and said, my dear Shiva, please stop this kind of creation. You don't have to create this kind of people at this stage of the creation. Better you go to the forest and do meditation. Take your bead bag and chant Hare Krishna. And please don't forget to take all the people whom you have created. All of you go and then do some japa in circles, right? Do some meditation together, and you please don't get involved in the creation at this moment. What did Shiva do? Did Shiva negotiate with Brahma? Did Shiva say, oh, why are you removing me from this service? Please allow me to continue in this service. You are not supposed to just terminate my services just because there is some deficiency in the service. Give me one more chance. He did not negotiate. Shiva respectfully offered obeisances to Brahma. He circumambulated Brahma and he silently went to the forest, continued his meditation along with the his followers. Right? He is the presiding deity of ego, but he did not have any ego. Right? He did not negotiate, he did not bargain with Brahma. He said, yes, I will go and meditate. You are my father, I must be obedient to you. So Brahma, you see, Lord Brahma's position here. First he created 5 features of ignorance, 5 ajnana vrittis. But he was dissatisfied. That's the first obstacle in Brahma's creation, Brahma's service. Please try to see the parallel between Brahma's position and our position. Sometimes we are also assigned some service. When we are doing some services, definitely we encounter some obstacles. So the first obstacle that Brahma encountered was dissatisfaction with his own creation. First obstacle. Second, Brahma created 4 Kumaras, but they were disobedient. Right? There is denial from his own subordinates. That is second obstacle. Third, he created Shiva. Shiva was very obedient, not disobedient like 4 Kumaras, but the people that he created, they created disturbance in the universe. Third obstacle is disturbance. So when we are rendering services to the spiritual master, to the Vaishnava community, sometimes we may encounter some dissatisfaction with our own activities. First obstacle. Second obstacle, we may not get that obedience or cooperation from others. Disobedience or denial of our instructions could be another obstacle. Then third is disturbance. Although some people are very effective in assisting us in service, they may not show the proper productivity, or they may create a lot of disturbance in our services. Although they are eager to serve, their eagerness creates disturbance. Have you seen some people like that? Have you ever worked with some people like that? So Shiva has been one example like that at this moment. No offense to Lord Shiva, he is very exalted, but somehow the people whom Shiva has created a lot of disturbance in the universe, and Brahma told them, please stop. You have to stop this. But Brahma's determination to continue his service of creation was not slackened. What did Brahma do? Brahma continued his creation. He created 10 sages. Who are the 10 sages? Like Angira, Pulastya, like that, so many sages he has created. He created even Kardamuni also. He told them, you please expand the population. You get married and you produce children and instruct your children to produce more children, and that's how you populate this entire universe with so many species. That was Brahma's instruction to all the sages. But meanwhile, some other obstacle came in Brahma's life. What was that? Distraction. At one point, Brahma created a woman named Vak. Right? This Vak was like his own daughter, but Brahma somehow became attracted to her only. He started running behind her. Maitreya Muni speaks this episode of Brahma running behind Vak with so much of hesitation. He says, oh, how can I describe this? But he also thought, how can I not describe this? If I don't describe this incident that happened in the life of Brahma, where he was distracted by his own daughter, people will not get an instruction. Even such an exalted personality like Brahma also could get distracted by some sensual desires. So I must narrate this incident so that people get an instruction. Because it's very difficult to tolerate this urge for sense gratification. As we know, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself said, Shaknoti haiva yashodham praksharira vimokshana kamakrodhodbhavam vegam sayuktaha sasukhi naraha. Shaknoti haiva yashodham praksharira vimokshana. When will this urge of kama and krodha stay with us? Till the last breath. Till the moment of giving up this body, this urge for lust and anger will continue to exist. We have to tolerate. We can never take it for granted that now I have transcended lust. So that's what Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita. Skamayesha krodhayesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapma vidhiyena iha vairinam. Prabhupada quotes that shloka in this. Of course, he doesn't quote the shloka as it is, but he gives the meaning of the shloka in this purport, that it is only lust and anger that are born out of ignorance. They are the real enemies of the conditioned souls, right? So, our Maitreya Muni, who is describing this whole story of Brahma's creation, he says that Brahma wanted to create, but somehow at one point he was disturbed by his own daughter Vag. He was distracted and he was started running behind this daughter. Then when Brahma ran behind Vag, all the sons of Brahma headed by Marichi respectfully requested Brahma, please don't do this. It's not appropriate on your part. You are supposed to set an ideal example for common people to follow. If you yourself are following your daughter, then people will get a wrong message. No other Brahma has done this before. Please restrain from this behavior. They were respectfully requesting. But Brahma did not stop. Brahma continued in his determination to run behind her. He was so distracted. Then all these people, sages who are the sons of Brahma, they turned towards Krishna and offered obeisances to Krishna. Krishna, please protect Brahma from this lusty behavior. Then Brahma stopped. Right? So, what protects us from lust? Only Krishna can protect us from lust. Kashayana cha bhojanadi niyaman novavane sato Vyakhyanadatava munivratabhara chittodbhavakshiyate Kintu spitakalinda shailatanaya tire cha vikridato Govindasya padaravinda bhajanarambhasya leshadapi Kashayana cha bhojanadi niyaman. Just by wearing kashaya vastra, just by wearing saffron cloth, one's lusty desires may not be destroyed. Kashaya annacha. One cannot assume that just because I wore saffron, I will not have any lust anymore. It will continue to exist. Kashaya annacha. Bhojanadi niyaman. My diet regulations, will it stop lust? Not necessary. Bhojanadi niyaman. Novavane sato. Can we stay in the forest, in a secluded place? Will that destroy lust? No. Even if you stay in very secluded forests also, sometimes lusty desires may disturb us. Right? Novavane vasato vyakhyanadatava. By reading commentaries, analyzing Sanskrit shlokas, will that destroy lust? Not necessary. Vyakhyanadatava munivrata bharat. Can I take vows of silence? Will that destroy lust? Not necessary. Then what will destroy lust? Govindasya padaravinda bhajanarambhasya leshadapi. Govindasya padaravinda bhajana. Even if we begin to render worship, even if we begin to worship the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, that will destroy lust. Even in the beginning stages of our worship of the lotus feet of Govinda, lust will be destroyed. Right? So basically, taking shelter of Krishna is the only way. Bhakti is the only way. When all these sages headed by Marichi offered prayers to Krishna, then Brahma restrained himself from that lusty behavior and stopped running behind Vak. Till then, Brahma continued running behind Vak. So when we need to take exclusive shelter of Krishna. When you look at the beautiful eyebrows of Krishna, Hasam Hareravanata Khilaloka Tivra Shokashru Sagara Vishoshanamatyudaram Sammohanaya Rachitam Nijamaya Yasya Bhrumandalam Munikrute Makaradhvajasya Hasam Harer Avanata Akhila Loka Tivra Shoka Ashru Sagara Vishoshanamatyudaram. So Krishna's smiles are so benevolent, Ati Udaram, that they can completely dry up the ocean of tears that we have created by crying, unable to experience the threefold miseries. But this is not the main point that I want to make now. The next point is Bhrumandalam Munikriteya Makaradhvajasya. The another part of this shloka is Krishna's beautiful eyebrows Gokulanandaji's eyebrows are like bows. So from a bow, arrow comes, right? Similarly, from the bow of the Lord's eyebrows, the arrows of his glances come, right? So Krishna's glances, loving glances, affectionate glances are like arrows coming from the bows of his eyebrows. When we expose ourselves to the loving glances of the Lord, from the arrows of Krishna's loving glances, we will be protected from the arrows, flowery arrows of Cupid. There is another person who keeps on shooting arrows. That is Mr. Cupid, Madana, Kamadev. His job is to take a pushpaban and keep on showering arrows to induce attraction between male and female, right? So all the lusty desires and this infatuation between men and women is because of the arrows of Cupid. To protect ourselves from the arrows of Cupid, we need to expose ourselves to the arrows of Krishna's loving glances, right? Bhrumandalam manikrite makaradhvajasya. So all these devotees have taken shelter of Krishna, headed by Marichi. Then Brahma stopped. He became very ashamed. He became very, very embarrassed. My God, how could I do this? He just ran behind Vak. Of course, he stopped at one point. This is not a license for anyone to disrespect Lord Brahma. It is only a very important caution note that one can never be overconfident. Even if someone is as exalted as Brahma, there could be some distraction. Especially in Kali Yuga, there are so many distractions, right? So one has to be very careful and cautious. Otherwise, even, as Prabhupada says, even slightest inattentiveness can create havoc in one's spiritual life. Vadanti vishvam kavayasmanashwaram pashyanti chadhyatma vido vipaschitah tathapi muhyanti tavajabhayaya suvismitam krityamajam natosmitam. Vadanti vishvam kavayasmanashwaram. Although some people are very, very advanced in their spiritual life, advanced in understanding philosophy, and expert in even convincing others also about the temporary nature of this material world, still, even such people also can get affected, bewildered thoroughly by Maya. Even a mild glance of Maya can do a thorough job in distracting us from bhakti. So we should not be overconfident. Even a mild, sidelong glance of Maya can thoroughly agitate us and disturb us and distract us from our spiritual life. One has to be very, very careful. And we may not even realize that, I have already been distracted or deviated. We may not even realize it. Ajamil fell down when, as soon as he saw that affair, that maid servant, that Dasi engaged in a very inappropriate behavior in public with that man, as soon as Ajamil saw it, witnessed it, he fell down. But he did not realize it then. When did he realize? He realized it only when we heard the conversation between Yamadutas and Vishnudutas. Similarly, one who is distracted from bhakti may not realize that I have been distracted. When will they realize? After they go far, far away from their path, then they, oh my God, I should not have done it. All happened because of that day. Right? So one has to be constantly alert in the association of devotees to not get distracted. And what helped Brahma when he was distracted? The prayers of the devotees helped Brahma. Right? Therefore, we need to hold on to the sadhu sangha or association of devotees to not get distracted. So Brahma continued his creation. After giving up that mentality of getting attracted to his own daughter Vak, so Brahma continued his creation. He created 4 Vedas. Now, after getting distracted by Vak, the next creation of Brahma is creating 4 Vedas. Can you just imagine? He created 4 Vedas after that. How can someone who is so affected by lust towards his own daughter create Vedas? Please understand, when you take shelter of Krishna, whatever may be the background, one will be completely and thoroughly purified when there is desire to get purified. So Brahma felt so ashamed, repentant and regretful for his previous behavior, and he gave that up. Now his empowerment and all the blessings that he received from the Lord continued, and he created 4 Vedas, he created Saptaswaras, he created different kinds of Vedic arts, fine arts, and one phase of creation continued. Very important point here. I think I'll take 3-4 minutes to make this point. When we see very exalted devotees also doing some mistakes or getting distracted from their pure spiritual life, what should be our perspective? How should we see that? Srila Prabhupada, in this purports of this chapter, 3rd canto, 12th chapter, he gives 3 pointers. How to see the mistakes of great souls. How to respond when we see even great personalities also getting distracted from their spiritual life. Number 1, first point is, don't lose discrimination. Just because a very advanced devotee, very senior devotee, or a very great celebrity, spiritual celebrity has done a mistake, that does not mean mistake becomes bona fide. Don't lose discrimination. Mistake is a mistake, whoever does it. Right? Brahma ran behind his daughter. That's a mistake. Just because Brahma is doing it, let me also do it. That's not the mood. Right? Just because Parikshit kept a dead snake around Shimik Rishi's neck, and because he's a pure devotee, let me also put some dead snakes around all the people who are doing japa. That's not the message we need to take. So see the mistake as a mistake. Don't lose discrimination. Second point, just because this great soul has done a mistake, that does not mean we disrespect that person. Don't lose respect. First is, don't lose discrimination. Second is, don't lose respect. Just because this devotee has done a small mistake, does it mean that all the glorious services this devotee has done have become nullified, have become zero? No. Don't fail to respect them for all the glorious services they have done. Yes, this mistake is there, just ignore it if possible. If it's a smaller one, if it's a major one, you may not be able to ignore it, but at the same time, don't disrespect it. Don't disrespect the great personality. They are glorious. Tejiyasam na doshaya. When we criticize or when we offend such great personalities for doing a small mistake, we may fall down, but they will repent, they will regret for the mistake, and they will continue their bhakti. You want an example? See the example of Brahma only. When Brahma ran behind Vak, sages headed by Marichi offered humble prayers to Krishna, and Brahma controlled himself. But there are some sons of Marichi, 6 of them. They laughed at Brahma disrespectfully. Because of that offense to Brahma, they fell down. They had to take birth as grandsons of Hiranyakashipu. Later they had to take birth as sons of Mother Devaki, and they were killed by Kamsa. You know that whole story, right? So, because of offending Brahma and criticizing Brahma, the sons of Marichi fell down from their position. So, see the mistake as a mistake, but don't disrespect the person who has done the mistake. Especially when they have such great track record. Brahma did 100 years of austerity. He got the darshan of Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. He offered prayers to the Lord. And he did the whole creation. How can we offend Brahma for this one little mistake? But take a lesson. Right? So 2 things we discussed. First is, don't lose discrimination. Second is, don't lose respect for the great personality. Third is, consider the personal lesson meant for us. If such a great personality could be distracted by lust, what about me? I can also get distracted at any time. So we need to be cautious. We need to be careful. Their mistake should not give us a license to disrespect them. Their mistake gives us a caution that I can also get distracted. Let me be careful. Let me be very, very careful. Let me be prayerful. Let me be cautious. Let me protect myself within the fence of sadhu sangha. Let me not go away from devotees. Right? Because our Bharat Maharaj was not with devotees, so he was distracted by the deer. Ajamil was not with devotees, he was distracted by that lady. So when we are not taking shelter of sadhus, we can get distracted at any moment. So Brahma was distracted here. These are some lessons there. And after that, Brahma continued his creation. Meanwhile, he appointed 10 sages to increase the population of the universe, right? But these 10 sages were very slow, extremely slow in producing population. They were thinking, Brahma was thinking, there is a lot of deficiency in the creation. Although I delegated this activity to 10 great personalities, 10 great sages are sages. They're very slow. There is some deficiency in the creation. Creation is not, our population is not increasing as expected. So Brahma deliberated. Very seriously, he started meditating on the Lord. Oh Lord, how can I serve you? How can I expand this population? From that deliberation, from that meditation on the Lord, a couple manifested from Brahma's own body. Who are they? Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. And they expanded the population of the universe in the first Manvantara. That's how the chapter ends. Right? So in short, we have seen the different obstacle faced by Lord Brahma during his service of creation. First obstacle was dissatisfaction because of his own creation of Ajnana Vrittis. Second obstacle was disobedience of 4 Kumaras. Third obstacle was disturbance created by Lord Shiva's followers. Fourth obstacle was distraction because of Vak. Fifth obstacle was deficiency in the creation because of the sages. But still, Brahma continued his service with determination. Similarly, when we are rendering service to Guru, Krishna and Vaishnavas, we may face so many obstacles, so we should not be disappointed or discouraged. With determination, we need to continue despite so many obstacles. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whereas any comments or corrections, we'll be grateful to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Firstly, thank you for all your incredible contributions, bringing the Bhagavatam to us. We all read your books and listen to your lectures and feel so nourished, and we also steal your content and share it with others. So it's a confession. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here in London, in the UK. Prabhu, I just had one question, maybe just something you could reflect on or tell us something we could learn from it. It's very interesting you mentioned Lord Shiva's name is Asutosh, one who is easily pleased. In purports also Srila Prabhupada writes that he's also easily angered. And I was just thinking this combination of personalities who are easily pleased and simultaneously easily angered is like, is there something to learn from this? Like you also see in, for example, Nityananda Prabhu, who's very merciful, very magnanimous, very kind, and then seems to also have this other side. Of course, it's all transcendental, but can also become angry very quickly. So I was just wondering if there's anything we can learn from that, or what is this combination in personalities of being easily angered and also easily pleased.
Thank you, Maharaj, for making that observation. I know you have a profound answer for this, but because you have asked me, as your servant, let me share something that comes to my mind. Those who are easily pleased and those who are easily angered are basically very simple at heart, very plain at heart. They have this great opulence of arjavam, simplicity. They are very transparent, whether they are happy or unhappy, sad or excited or exhausted or angry. They are very transparent. They just openly just speak it out. Like Damodar Pandit in Chaitanya Leela, he sometimes chastises even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. He's very straightforward. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was considering whether to show mercy to actually all the devotees like Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda, and many other Sarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Rai, they were requesting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please give darshan to Pratapadra Maharaj. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if I give darshan to Pratapadra Maharaj, people will criticize me. What to speak of common people? Even this Damodar Brahmachari also will criticize me. Basically, Mahaprabhu is concerned about public opinion. That's what he wants to say. But Damodar Pandit, without any filter in his throat, he said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I can already notice that you are developing so much affection for Pratapadra Maharaj, you will definitely meet him, I know that. So, no reservations, he just spoke like that. One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had sent Damodar Pandit to assist Sachi Mata in Navadvip. And after serving her for a while, he came back to Jagannath Puri. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, how is my mother Sachi Mata? How is her devotional service going on? Then Damodar Brahmachari said, you are inquiring about your mother's devotional service? Whatever devotion you have is only because of her devotion. You are inquiring about her devotion? Then Mahaprabhu got scared and said, Damodar Brahmachari, you have purchased me with this statement. Right? He felt very happy. So sometimes devotees become angry, but Mahaprabhu clearly understands that Damodar Pandit has so much love for him. Same thing with Jagdananda Pandit also. He is very angry sometimes. He will get some sandalwood oil for Lord Chaitanya. If Mahaprabhu doesn't take it, he becomes angry and he doesn't eat for 3 days. He doesn't eat. Mahaprabhu has to go and plead. And to bring him out of Manlila, Mahaprabhu had to say, I'm very hungry. Can you please cook and feed something for me? And out of fear, Mahaprabhu would eat whatever Jagdananda Pandit feeds him. So some are like that. Satyabhama in Krishna Leela is like that. So they are combination of, like, they are easily plead sometimes, they are easily angered. That shows the transparency of their hearts, simplicity of their hearts. Whatever is there inside is outside. They don't know duplicity, they don't know diplomacy, they are not hypocritical. They are very, very plain-hearted, simple-hearted people. We can see such people around us also, right? Very innocent. For example, Hanumanji, he is so intelligent, so powerful. He can examine the demeanor of Vibhishan and clearly say that he is very genuine at heart. He is so pure-hearted, very intelligent. But one day when Sita Devi was putting some sindhur on her head, Hanumanji said, my dear mother, why are you putting that sindhur on your head? Then Sita Devi thought, Brahmachari, what will he understand? Okay, she simply said, Ram will be pleased if I put this on my head. Then Hanumanji applied the sindur all over his body to please Lord Ram. Prasanna ho, Prabhu, prasanna ho. May you be pleased, may you be pleased. So that's how simple-hearted Hanumanji is. So in short, my answer is, such people are very simple-hearted, very transparent, very plain. They have no duplicity or diplomacy in them. Very simple. Does it make sense, Maharaj?
It's wonderful, wonderful answer. Thank you so much. I was thinking of children are very much like this also,
Yes,
no?
yes.
Like very. And I think there's also a Puran, maybe a Padma Purana says you'll know a great soul because their mind, their words, and their activities are all in one line.
Mm.
You can understand whatever they're feeling. There's no duplicity like that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Your demeanor, your knowledge, your contributions, we admire all of them so much. It means a lot to me. You're coming and sitting and hearing so humbly. And it was a pleasure hearing from you when you came to GEV, when you came to Chowpatty. And online YouTube classes we keep hearing. So you are influencing so many devotees across the globe with your wisdom and with your very refined presentation skills. Many devotees say that every statement that you make is worth writing like a quote. So in the entire presentation of 1 hour or 2 hours, so a series of profound, realized, crisp, eloquent statements just come out. And I was personally nourished by hearing your talks many times. Whenever I get some time, I hear. Thank you so much for being what you are, Maharaj. Thank you. And please forgive me if there are any mistakes that I have made in my presentation. I feel very embarrassed and nervous to speak in front of you, but somehow I managed the class. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class. I had a question about the story of the creation that is presented here. There seems to be another popular version of the story. The story of the universal creation.
Okay.
There seems to be another version which is presented in the Shiv Puran with the Linga Jyoti appearing and Lord Shiva giving an instruction to Lord Vishnu, and then after that, so that version. So how do we reconcile these?
There are multiple ways of understanding this. From one perspective, as Prabhupada writes in one of the purports here, even there are differences in the details of creation between second canto of Bhagavatam and third canto of Bhagavatam. You see, second canto, 5th chapter describes the universal creation in a certain way. Third canto, 5th chapter also describes in a different way. And there are different descriptions of universal form also. So Prabhupada says that there could be some differences in the details of the manifestation of creation. We need to understand that they pertain to different kalpas. The basic principles of creation will remain the same, but the smaller, finer details may vary. Because universe is created multiple times. Bhutva, bhutva, praliyate. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Bhutva, bhutva, praliyate. Mahavishnu is creating millions of universes with every exhalation. And he has been breathing since time immemorial. He will continue to breathe. Every time he exhales, millions of universes are coming out. And every time he inhales, millions of universes are going in his body. Next time he exhales, again things come out. So, because creation is happening so many times, there could be some differences in the details of creation in different books or within the same book also. Okay. Any other question, comment? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj Prabhu. You said we should always be alert in every moment because, all of these temptations, distractions in your services. So I was wondering, is there any way that we can always be careful and alert, but actually also be relaxed at the same time? Or is this contradictory?
Relaxed. What does it mean? Being relaxed is not being complacent. Not reckless, not careless. Being relaxed means be stress-free. When you take shelter of Krishna, you can relax. That's a real relaxation. Taking shelter of Krishna is the real relaxation. We'll be freed from all anxieties and stresses. That's the real relaxation. But taking shelter of Krishna means being alert, being attentive. When you're attentively chanting the holy names of Krishna, you can be relaxed because Maya will not disturb us. But when you are not attentively chanting the holy names of Krishna, Maya, we may think that we are relaxing, but actually Maya will not keep us relaxed. Maya will distract us so much, and that will induce so much of stress and anxiety. So devotees are very alert and attentive in their practices of bhakti, but at the same time they are stress-free, they are not anxious, because Krishna bhakti has that potency. The more we are attentive in our practices, the more we are freed from all anxieties. That's why Prabhupada says the regulative principles that we are following in bhakti, they are regulative principles of freedom. Regulation and freedom are opposite words, but Prabhupada brings both of them, harmonizes both of them. These are regulative principles of freedom. When you follow this regulation, you will be free. Right? When you are attentive in our practices, alert in our practices, you can be relaxed. Otherwise, there is anxiety. Does it make sense? Hare Krishna. One Mataji. Yeah.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the class and your association. I wanted to ask, as a practitioner of bhakti, how do we maintain our hope and faith when we see even great personalities engaged in devotional service commit mistakes?
There are 6 symptoms of Sharanagati, 6 aspects of Sharanagati. Anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam, rakshishyatiti vishwaso goptrutve varanam tatha. Atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha Sharanagati. So, your question is, even when we see such great personalities getting distracted, how can we maintain our hope and confidence that bhakti will protect me because of I have so many flaws? Basically, we will be protected in our bhakti when we follow these first 2 symptoms. Anukulyasya sankalpam, pratikulyasya varjanam. When we are determined and committed in our practices, when we try to adopt whatever is favorable in our bhakti, and when we humbly try to avoid whatever is unfavorable in our bhakti, that gives us protection. Then, like Goptrutve Varanam Tatha, we need to also understand that Krishna gives shelter. Despite all our shortcomings, all our flaws, all our disabilities, inabilities, Krishna is always merciful. Krishna is extremely kind and compassionate upon us. That compassionate spirit of Krishna, that affection and mercy of Krishna is our hope. But when do we access that mercy of Krishna? When we are alert in our practices. When we adopt whatever is favorable for bhakti, when we try to avoid whatever is unfavorable for bhakti, then we will access that Krishna's protection. We need to show some seriousness. Drishtva parishramam Krishna kripayasit svabandhani. When there is parishram from our side. Parishram means endeavor, effort. What is that endeavor? What is that effort? That endeavor is to adopt whatever is favorable for bhakti and avoid whatever is unfavorable for bhakti. When we put our sincere effort, Krishna will protect us. Actually, when we see great souls also getting distracted, sometimes like we saw Brahma's example, and later we will see Shiva getting distracted by Mohini Murti, right? We should understand it's happening by Krishna's orchestration to give us a message. And later in the 9th canto we will see Pururava very infatuated with Urvasi. Yayati, my God, he is so obsessed with Devayani. Not only these examples of lusty desires, there are so many other examples of anger, envy, pride. Indra became very envious of. Indra may not be showing lust at this moment, but he is very envious of Prithu Maharaj. Daksha may not be manifesting lust, but Daksha is definitely envious or hateful of Lord Shiva. So all these personalities, they are great personalities. They are worshippers of Vishnu. Indra is a devotee of Vishnu. Daksha is a devotee of Vishnu. But still, they became affected by certain anarthas. So all these episodes should give us an important message that we have to be very, very alert. If such great personalities are getting affected, I should be very careful, right? We should learn what to do and what not to do from the activities of these great souls without disrespecting them. Learn what not to do from Yayati's activities, don't offend Yayati. Learn what not to do from Pururava's episode, but don't offend Pururava. Learn what not to do from Brahma's episode here, but don't offend Brahma. Right? So all these episodes are meant to give us a caution note. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We'll conclude now. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.